Hey everyone, this is Fortune Gentleman 24, and welcome back to Kaidan Restaurant, Thriller Restaurant if you want to be more precise. Today, what are we doing? But of course, we're gonna be telling a little ghost stories. What better way to start off the second part of this game, than to tell some ghost stories. Now, you should all remember this one thing about this game. There are 3 stories in each one. The first story is your basic appetizer. It gets you in the mood. Second is your main dinner, of course. And last is dessert, which leaves you chilling to the bone. Now, these Japanese stories, are, well, I would probably like to see, like, maybe what? Do you think they're true? Or are they a myth? Because, well, I believe that these stories do have some of a good ending to it. Now, for what we do, we can choose whichever one we want to do with. So, I'm going with the appetizer. So, I'm going to go with like a small, little, tiny bit. Not too scary, not too nice. Just to get us in the mood. But the second one, the dinner, will be scary as hell. I can promise you that much. Now, what he's saying, he's mostly surprised to see that we're actually selecting this story. For you, you probably won't kind of understand it, but somewhere in the video, maybe around this area right here, is where I'll actually tell what story that we picked, or I'll show it when we get to the main plot. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh shit, that's right. Oh crap, that's right. Reset this thing. Hold on for 1 second, okay? Okay, I believe this should be a good angle enough for us to be able to read it. Now, I believe right. Wait, yeah, okay, yeah, this is good. Okay. It's the same way I was going to say. Let's just get on with the story. I'll say what I have on my mind later on. After we get to the end of the story. Black magic. Now I'm just gonna try and go based off of what it's saying. It's kind of hard to remember, but Mad Henry was a hermit who lived alone in a scripted mansion at the edge of town. Rumors were rife about a wide-eyed man. Some folks said that he was a magician who called upon the power of darkness to wreak havoc upon his neighbors. Others called him a mad doctor who could restore life to fallow corpses and from the local cemetery. No respectable citizen in town had anything to do with Mad Henry. Then one year, a new family moved into town with a lovely daughter, Rachel, who caught Mad Henry's eyes. He showered the maiden with gifts, goblets of pure gold, necklace, pearls, and a pot of daisies that never dropped a single petal. Despite the gifts, Rochelle fell in love with another, Gregory, Jeffrey, a handsome young man, just home from university. A week after meeting, they eloped, leaving behind a stunned, mad Henry. When Rachel and Jeffrey returned from the elopement, they threw a big ball and invited everyone in town. While Rachel was waltzing with her father, she heard a clap of thunder. Lightning flashed again and again. Suddenly, the double doors blew open and the breeze whirled in, bringing with it the smell of dead, decaying things. And I'm guessing, for the background, I'm guessing this is where it was held at. I don't get this at all, because when I read the story before, hold on for 1 second. Just by looking at this, I mean, this right here, this looks like a school. And it's supposed to be in a town, so was the place outside of it, or like what? I really could not understand this whole part of it. Cause it just doesn't even look like a good. It doesn't even look like a place to hold a ball. I mean, come on. I mean, look at it. I mean, look at the gate right there. See that gate on there? That looks like a school gate. I mean, if that was a place, I'd just say, what? That's a freaking place to hold a party. That's not bad. Well, without further ado, let's get back into the story. Since it's getting good. Mad Henry drew a silver blade knife and casually cut the bridegroom's throat from ear to ear. Rachel screamed and ran forward, pushing through the foul, sticking corpses of the dead, and flung herself upon her dying husband. "Kill us both!" she cried desperately, but Mad Henry plucked the lass out of the pool of blood surrounding her dead husband and carried her out into the thundering night. Behind him, the army of the dead turned from grisly scene and followed their master. The sound of thunder and lightning faded away from the alchemist, and his dead companions disappeared into the dark night. Again, I ask, what the hell? What's with all this thing? Like, this is supposed to be like I know this thing's supposed to be based off an anime where kids are telling stories, but come on, really? Really? Does it really have to show a classroom? Come on. God dang. Sorry, sorry, I always keep checking back over to take a look at my Cam Studio thing just to be sure it has enough time. Jeffrey's father and Rachel's father gathered a small mob and followed the evil hermit, intent upon saving Rachel. When they searched Mad Henry's house, they found it completely empty, save for a light, which shone from a series of mysterious globes that bobbed near the ceiling at each room. Mad Henry had vanished. Search parties scoured the countryside for days, but turned up nothing. Jerfy, sorry, I still can't figure out how to say his name right because I was singing cold. I'm sorry. Was buried in a local cemetery, and the dance hall was torn down. No one in town spoke about what happened, and no one dared imagine what had become of poor Rachel. Again with the schoolyard? Come on! Fine. A year to the day after the ball, a timid knock sounded upon the door of Rachel's parents' home. There we go, that's embarrassing. When her father had opened it, he saw a gaunt, gray figure on the stoop. Her eyes were dull with exhaustion and pain. It was Rachel. Her tongue had been cut out so she couldn't speak. But when she prosed a knife from her tattered garment, the knife was a silver blade that they had last seen in the hands of Mad Henry. Oh god, I remember this part so much. But I still don't get what the freak is with the freaking why in the schoolyard? Why? I asked why. What the for God's sake. Hold on a second. Okay, and we're back. I just had to get somebody real quick. Okay. The last scene in Mad Henry. The gleam of satisfaction in Rachel's eye told them that the streak of blood that coated the knife were thus of Mad Henry. That night, Rachel died in her sleep, with a peaceful smile upon her ravaged face. And there we have it. That was our first story. Each story is a single candle here. We did the first candle. Now the next one, if I believe correctly. Crap, hold on. Gotta make sure I have this thing set. I'm sorry, I should not really be doing this in front of the camera. I'm sorry. But I believe is what you have to do. And just blow out the first candle. Now I believe our garçon is asking us, did you enjoy your appetizer? I'm sure it left a chilling tingle down your spine. Do you quietly understand why Mad Henry fell in love with Rachel? And why Rachel had the bloody knife with her? Now if I believe right, if you actually do answer the question correctly on why you think it was, you get coins. Coins you can use to spend and get items. But I am not 100% sure, so I believe it's. Where's that answer? Yes, that's my answer, Garcon. Just deal with it. Come on. Thank you, Garcon. Ah, yes, that's right. That was the appetizer. The main dinner begins now. Ooh, yes. The main dinner. God, it's gotta be good. Just give me a sec to prepare and I'll get on it right away. Okay, let's go. Ooh. Now then, I have one thing I have to say before I can read this story. Those of you who cannot handle a murder well enough, you do not have to listen to what I'm about to say. Because this murder may have been true. It may not be true. But that's the fun part. I expect you all to figure out if it is true or not. So, relax, enjoy, and have a nice day listening to Axe Murderer. Okay, here we go. Susan and Ned were driving through a woody, empty section of a highway. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, the sky went dark, and torrential downpour. "We'd better stop," said Susan. Ned nodded his head in agreement. He stepped on the brake, and suddenly the car started to slide on the slick pavement. They plunged off the road and slid off the height to the bottom of the inline, dang, sorry. Pale and shaken, Ned quickly turned to check if Susan was all right. When she nodded, Ned relaxed and looked through the rain-soaked windows. "I'm going to see how bad it is," he told Susan, and went out into the storm. He saw his blurry figure in the headlights, walking around the front of the car. A moment later, he jumped in beside her, soaking wet. "The car's not badly damaged, but we're wheels deep in mud," he said. "I'm going to have to go for help." Susan swallowed nervously. There would be no quick rescue here. He told her to turn off the headlights and lock the doors until he returned. Axe Murderer Hollow. Although Ned had seen his name aloud, they both knew what he had been thinking when he told her to lock the car. This was the place where a man had once taken an axe and hacked his wife to death in the jealous rage over an algae affair. Supposedly, the axe-wielding spirit of the husband continued to haunt the section of the road. "Get in with the classroom, come on!" Outside the car, Susan heard a shriek, a loud thump, and a strange gurgling noise. Ooh. But she couldn't see anything in the darkness. Frightened, she shrank down into her seat. She sat in silence for a while, and then she noticed another sound. Bump, bump, bump. It was a soft sound, like something being blown by the wind. Who goes there, she wondered. Suddenly, the car was illuminated by a bright light. An official-sounding voice told her to get out of the car. Ned must have found a police officer. Susan unlocked the door and stepped out of the car. As her eyes adjusted to the bright light, she saw it. Click, click. Thank you. Hanging by his feet from the tree next to the car was the dead body of Ned. His bloody throat had been cut so deeply that he was nearly decapitated. The wind swung the corpse back and forth so that it thumped against the tree. Bump, bump, bump. Susan screamed and ran towards the voice of the light. As she drew close, she realized the light was not coming from a flashlight. Standing there was a glowing figure of a man with a smile on his face and a large, solid, and definitely real axe in his hand. She backed away from the glowing figure, until she bumped into the car. "Playing around when my back was turned," the ghost whispered, stroking the sharp blade of the axe with his finger. "You've been very naughty, I see." The last thing she saw was the glint of the axe blade in the airy, insidious light. So far, this has been going good so far. We finished the 11th candle. So, the only thing left for us to do is just blow it out. Wait, hold on. I actually want to make sure. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Neat. There is 11. And we got a whole bunch of stories to read. Let's see how well it goes. Alright. Woo, that's loud. Mm-mm. Not too much. And here we go with the next one. I will see you after I adjust it. Alrighty, we're back. It's time to read our dessert. Let's turn that up a bit. Oh, you know what? Turn up a little. Well, here it is. Our next story. Our dessert, if you would say. Death Coach. It is midnight. The streets of Koha grow silent as the citizens turn off their lights one by one and go their well-earned rest. Lower than that, the night is dark, and the winds whisper softly, touching the trees and houses, rattling a window pane here and there. In one house, a woman sits beside her window, waiting silently for the doctor to arrive. Her beloved husband lies on the bed next to her. In the light of the single candle, she can see his emaciated face. He is in terrible pain, which even the drug prescribed by the doctor cannot abate. She clutches his hand tightly, feeling the cold creeping through it. He is barely breathing now. She knows he is slipping away. One part of her is thankful, for she cannot bear to see him in so much pain. Most of her wants to scream out in desperation, begging him not to leave her alone. Outside the house, the soft rumble of wheels and the clip-clop of hooves echo through the still night. The woman's tears, her eyes from her husband's face, and looking out the window, expecting to see the doctor carousel pulling into the street. Instead, she sees a dark closed coach with black gaping holes where the window should be. The shaft in the front of the coach are empty. Yet she can hear the sound of invisible horses' hooves as the coaches move slowly down the street. She draws in a deep breath and exhales slowly. It is the death coach. Her husband had told her it would come for him that night. But she hadn't believed him, hadn't wanted to believe him. Yet there it is, rolling slowly up the front of the house to stop by the front gate. The sight terrifies her, and she clutches her husband's hand tightly. He opens his eyes and smiles feeble at her, trying to squeeze her hand. "Is it here?" he asked, His voice barely as a whisper. She nodded. I love you, he said to his wife. She leans down and kisses him, feels his last breath on her lips. The grip of her hand loosens, and she knows he is dead. She straightened up, looking tenderly at his dead face through her tears. A movement by the door causes her to look up. She sees her husband's spirit standing at the door. He gazes first at his dead body, and then smiles at her. Then he turns and walks down the stairs. She moves at once to the window, flinging it open and leaning out, hoping to see him again. The front door opens, and her husband steps out to the front porch. And, dang, freaking eye, dang. That's where I was. Walks slowly to the door opens. Where is it? Here it is. He waves, and she waves back, tears streaming down her face. Then her husband steps in the coach at the door, closes behind him. Slowly, the death coach rumbles down the street, turns a corner, and is gone. Oh man, I still hate this story. This story always makes me cry. Goodbye, my love, she called softly as the death coach disappeared. Her husband's pain is over, but hers has just begun. With a heavy heart, she closes the window, goes down the stairs to the telephones the doctor and tells him her husband is dead. Oh, that story always hurts. I love that story. Even though the ending is sad, that's still a sad and happy story. They loved each other so much. There will be more stories like this, and you will maybe constantly actually hear me tear up or cry a little in the background. I'm sorry. But now that the story is over, the one thing we can do now is put it to rest. Farewell, you two, and have a good time in the afterlife. I hope you find happiness. Garçon, could you please get me a tissue? Garçon. Oh, look at that. You're watching Three Coins. Hey, that's pretty good. We actually got our first 3 coins, which means I believe we can spend it here. And it's, oh man, it's a Shaku Maiden. Screw that, what more? What is it? What is it? Come on. A fish. And once more. Come on, come on, come on. Big money, big money, big money, big money. Yeah! Oh, I can gain more. I believe you can view them. I think right here. Hey! Alright. I think one's over here. Nope. I think it's in this one. Hey! Hey! Alright. Now, yes, as time goes on, we will be getting stuff. But I'm gonna save my coins. We're gonna spend it when we when we get more. I think that'll be more of a good thing. So, without further ado, I will see you all next time on Kaidan Restaurant when we all have a time for a hungry appetite. Because I know I'll be coming back here again tomorrow. Hungry. Take care.